Hey guys, today we're going to be doing something a little bit unorthodox, but it will still get the point of the tutorial across. I might start doing live streaming at some point, or at least more serious live streaming. And so one of the things you need when you live stream is a layout. So I'm going to walk through how I'm going to make the layout. I have no plans ahead of time, but when I'm using a tool, I will explain everything about the tool. I will explain everything about the tool when I use it, which means that I'll be cutting out some parts of the episode when it gets boring and I'm just working on the concept and the design. So once I switch to a tool I haven't talked about, I'll talk about it and then I'll show you the final product. If you guys want to have talk about design concept and what I'm doing to get results when it comes to design, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment asking for that, and I will hopefully deliver. Okay. So first thing, when we're making a stream overlay, is that of course you need to be able to see the game. So a really nice way to do this is just to have, let's do, first of all, let's unlock our background by double clicking, and then we don't want, actually I'll have it be yellow, and so it'll color the background. Okay, so now it's yellow, so I know that that yellow is my background. So let's see, filter, want some noise. Okay, so what I'm doing here is noise is, if you ever think about a TV static, it's basically that. So like it finds, it like randomly generates noise. And I don't know if you can see it in the recording. Let's do, that's fine. Okay, so the reason I have this here is because I don't want a plain white background. I want something that, like, if I make, oops, hang on. Can I? I cannot. Okay, one sec. The reason I want the noise generated is because if I make a new layer, pretty much, I'm gonna press B for brush, and what the brush does is it applies pixels at a pre-calculated radius and feather. If you have the pencil, it's honestly, if we raise it up, it's just pixels, and it's kind of hard to see there, but you can see, like, if I turn off the background, you can see how actually like rigid those these are, opposed to the brush, where you have this kind of like almost like spray paintish kind of feel. You can get make it harder too, so it'll be less spray painty. And people have their choices. I prefer the spray painty because it acts like real paint, and you can see, like, you can smooth the edges out. But up to you what you want to use there. Okay, so what I'm doing is, why I'm doing that is because you can clearly see that color, you can clearly see that color, you can clearly see that color, you can clearly see this color. You can see almost like, I'd be willing to bet you could see any color that I place down very clearly, just because of the noise, the way it's generated. Places tons and tons of just randomly colored pixels that are very neon. Like, even if I went to a completely neon color, like, I'd still be able to see it because it has so many of its counterparts being there. So that is why I generate the noise, so I can actually see what I'm working with. Without the noise, you would see, and watch this white here. Without the noise, you would see this transparent, and the white's kind of harder to see, especially when you're trying to get fine detail. Like, let's say, like this. Oh, rip. Finer detail like this, definitely hard to see. Like, you can almost, like, not even make that out. So that's why I have noise, because now you can definitely make it out. Okay, so let's delete this layer, and then let's make a new one. Now I'm just gonna go to the brush, and then this is the color picker. I think I introduced that in the last video. I'm just gonna change it to black, and I'm gonna change it to darkest red black, because that's default black, but there's no difference between the codes in the black. I just like to keep it there as a personal preference. But there's no benefit to it whatsoever. So if I hold down shift with my brush, see how I actually have like a line there? The reason why it's varying widths is because I'm using a tablet. So if I hold down shift, and you can see like it has that shift thing pop up. If I hold down shift and I draw, it's going to, well, for one, let me reverse a bit. So if I hold down shift and draw, it draws a straight line. If I keep holding shift and don't let go, it's gonna connect. All right, should have connected. Yeah, so it's gonna connect, and the reason why it's like that weird, like getting thin, 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 thick, is because it tries to connect evenly. So like, if I didn't have the varying pressure on because of the tablet, it wouldn't have done that. So you can already see some really just kind of freaky, weird designs, just using that. Let's see. So if I hold down shift, I can draw in a straight line, which is what I want. I want to be drawing in a straight line, making like this window view. Voila. So now I kind of have this window view. Depending on what I'm playing. So like if I want to be playing Pokemon, like on like if I want to be playing Pokemon on the Game Boy Color, I'm going to make more of a box shape. And there's multiple ways to make a box, just like there's multiple ways to do everything. But that would be better. And then like, yeah, that's a bit small. I could erase it and I could redraw it, or I could do Control T, which is transform. And what Control T does is I can edit whatever I have, and if I hold shift, it edits it with it enlarges it or shrinks it with aspect ratio in mind. So you can see like if I press escape, that nullifies anything you've done and changes it back to what it was before. Pay attention to the width of these lines. So the width is stationary right now, but the second I press Control T and hold shift and go smaller, those lines are also getting thinner. And if I go bigger, those lines are also getting bigger. It's because it's taking this as almost an image and then rescaling it. So these lines aren't like, they're just pixels, and so it's using computer magic to determine how it wants to calculate it. And that's basically like if I rescale it twice as much, which means if it's this big, like just taking up 1/4 of the box, if I scale it twice as much, which would inevitably be one this way and one this way, this line is going to be twice as thick as it was here. Kind of difficult to understand if you haven't gone through geometry in high school, but just know that this is 1, and if you rescale it twice as much, that doesn't mean it's going to be like here. It means it's going to be here. And the reason why, and I shouldn't even be going into this, but like 1, 2, 2, and then you have to automatically fill in the 3. I don't know where people are at now in middle school and high school when they actually get interested in this kind of stuff, but just know twice as large in any program. And the reason I'm teaching you this in Photoshop is because I can actually create the visuals here. In any program, twice as large almost means 4 times as large. Kind of. I mean, technically it's twice as large, but anyways, enough of that. So let's go back. So I don't like it this size, so I'm going to press Control T for transform. I'm going to hold shift. Oh, my bad. Hold shift, rescale it. That looks okay. So now I have this kind of messy box, and I do not like that. So I'm gonna fill in these empty areas where there might be a problem. That might need more. Okay, So now I'm going to press E, and E means eraser. Eraser works the same as the brush with the shift, so I can hold here, press shift, and go down. Hold here, press shift, and go across. Hold here, press shift, and go down. Hold here, press shift, and go across. And then I can do the inside as well. So I can just clean it up. And this is the manual drawing way to do it. I will show you how to create an absolutely perfect box in just a sec. So, and then I go B, and like I don't need it to be completely perfect because I'm not really doing that much with it. I'm actually gonna have to zoom in, maybe not. Yeah, there you go. And then E, just erase these. Okay, so now I have a seemingly perfect box. I mean, it's not perfect, but it works fine to realize what I'm doing. This isn't, what I'm making is not the final product. What I'm making is a concept in my head that I can apply the gloss and the flare to later. And since it's a still image, you can almost think of this as one frame of a storyboard. And if you've ever not learned about storyboards, I'll make a quick little thing about them real quick because those will also come in handy later. So storyboards are, in short, let's see. Okay, storyboards are in short where you like have this. Oh shit! So you have this. You have this, and you have like this. And then all of this stuff doesn't matter because it's out of aspect ratio and it looks disgusting. So let's get rid of that. So anyways, you have like these boxes, right? So when you are using these boxes, what you do is be like, what do I want? Where do I want to start? I want to start like, do I want to like have some like explosive action start out, or do I want like a title sequence? Or do I want a like a car or a bicycle like crashing, like whatever you want would be in this first frame. Wherever you are starting your commercial, your movie, your scene, your film, and then like then this would be like the next scene. And so like if you ever look in like it's enough to where people like get the general idea on what's going on. So if you need to hand it off to someone else, they can reproduce something that at least is close to what it looks like in your head. So let's turn that off and turn that on. So now we have the, okay, and the reason why I couldn't draw, see that little X? The reason why I can't use it is because my layer that I'm on is not visible. So Photoshop likes to protect people by allowing or making it not okay to draw on an invisible layer because you can't see what you're drawing and you might end up messing something up and not knowing like what happened. Like you'll switch to your layer, turn it on, make it visible, then all of a sudden it's gone. Like it has tons of drawing over it. It's just not. It just doesn't look good. So okay, sorry, someone was contacting me. Okay, so we have our stuff here, and even if I try to draw, it'll say could not use the brush tool because target layer is hidden. This is the target layer. Now I'm on the target layer with the box, so now I'm going to draw that. I'm actually going to delete the storyboard layer. That was copying it. I'm going to delete the storyboard layer. Okay. Let me take a drink of water real quick. And I know this is a lot to take in. If you need to watch it more than once, go right ahead. Let's see. So we have this box, and I also need to teach you a way to make a perfect box. And the way to make a perfect box would be to use. Well, there's multiple ways. So in any artistic program, and like even in like game making programs, there's usually way more than one way to do things. And so like one of the really quick easy ways is to make like this, and then just I don't know if I even taught you guys about this, but that's the selection, and then I'm gonna hold Alt to take away from the selection, and like I don't even know where they're marching, so hang on, let me turn off this layer. There we are. That's much easier to see. Okay. So obviously this isn't a perfect box because there's stuff there, and we can easily just fix that by like eyeballing it. Okay, that's fine. Then eyeballing this. Okay, that's fine. Actually, that's not fine. Eyeballing this. Okay, I mean, whatever. And then you can only draw in your selection. So if I hold B and then I scale up my brush, see how it only fills in where I selected. So like if you want to take the time, you can actually make a perfect box that way. And that's also a way to like make there's also a way to make variable side of your box, but like I mean, hey, it doesn't really matter. This one's a lot easier. If I can find it, this one. Okay, so this is a shape. Do this. Wow, it's a perfect box. But hey, it's filled in. What if I don't want it to be filled in? Well, that's where the stroke comes in. So you click the stroke. You make this is how fat your stroke line is going to be. So let's turn that to like 8. And then the fill, let's turn that off. So this little thing right here, that means off, like it's not gonna be active. So there is a perfect square. And if you zoom in, you should be able to see that it's perfect. So that's a perfect like outline of a square. So I could do that too to make the it. Now I want to go over a little bit more about this tool. So let's see. If I select it again, okay. So as you can see, I have a fill and I have a stroke, but I can also select like a yellow stroke. So I can have this kind of stuff. I can also select a gradient fill. So it'll be one color transitioning to another. And these are some presets that you can that you have at your disposal. So the way to edit these is to double click this and then change the color, whatever you want. My recommendation is to never really use these, at least, like, unless you're really going for that type of feel. I don't normally use, like, the same type of, like this just looks awful. I mean, it depends. If you threw an Instagram logo over it and then, like, did some weird stuff like that, then yeah, like, it could look good. And there's ways to make this look good. But in my experience, it's safer and most people find it more appealing to actually change it to colors that are near each other. So like, depending on what you're going for, this might look better. And then let's turn off the stroke. So like this might look better. And like, I mean, it's really all up to you. Whatever you think is best. I typically don't even use these defaults because I just think they look hideous. Like this is like gold and like silver kind of stuff. And like I don't know, I just don't like it. I also have gradients that can change in opacity. So if you go here and you these top ones are opacity. So if you click this top one and you go, I want this to be 70. So now it goes like that. And this is really cool because you can do stuff like, if you remember, I do Control T, and I can rescale it. So I have a type of like gradient here, and the gradient like is fuzzy because of the noise in the background and kind of like unfuzzes out. But if I can still go even further and do like an overlay. Well, that didn't do anything, and the reason it didn't do anything is because of the, like, I don't think any of these might do anything. Yeah, that one kinda did, just because orange is such a, like, a light color. But, I don't, yeah, multiply would just darken it. Okay, so, you can do some weird kind of shading effects. Like you can even like do vignettes. So like if I didn't even like that, I could go here and go here, and I can choose the type of, or at least I should be able to choose the type somewhere. I'm looking for radial. Yeah, there should be a radial. I'll get to it later. But there is, just know that if you're ever looking for like a vignette, which is like where it darkens the outer sides, there is a radial, actually I think it's right here. Yeah, okay. So I would do that. I don't see why it's not working. If we turn this off, and why is it full screen now? I don't know. If we make a new layer and we do this, and then we turn the white opacity to 0, and then we drag outwards, and we gotta reverse them. And this is kind of weird because I don't typically mess with gradients, but they're helpful sometimes, so that's why I'm teaching you. Oh, okay, so that was how you delete a gradient. Whoops. So if you just click in this bar at the bottom, you can actually add a gradient. So I'm gonna move that over here, and if you drag off, it gets rid of the gradient. So I'm gonna change that to black. Okay. There we go. And change this to 0. Oh, rip. Hang on. Am I even editing this in gradient anymore? No, okay. So then we change this to 100. So what I've done is I have selected the gradient tool, which just draws a gradient, and I have edited, or I've edited the colors of the gradient. So now it'll be clear, 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 and then somewhere down the middle, it's gonna go very dark. I'm gonna press OK, and I'm gonna Control Z that one and draw out towards here like that. So this is like obviously like a very like violent vignette. It's very pronounced. But if we go here and we draw this closer, we draw the white closer, or the opacity, I guess, in this area. Then we undo this, and then we go to the middle and draw out again. Then you can see now it has kind of like that, like you can get the feel of like if you're damaged in a video game or something along those lines there. So vignettes are super cool. They can also make some of your photos look really nice. Okay. So now we covered the gradient tool, sort of. We've covered the shape tool, sort of. There's more shapes if you hold down and drag out. There's more shapes you can make, like the you can make a perfect circle by holding shift and using the ellipse tool. But beyond that, there's not much more with that. Which means now we're gonna go back to our initial box, and we're gonna hold B, and we're gonna make that smaller, make sure we're on black. Okay, so now what I want is I want details. So I'm thinking about having details down here. So these will be details. And then this is game. Yeah, let's make that nicer. You always want to have whatever these are readable. Even if you're the only one going to read them, it's always best to have these readable. Because if for some reason you need to give it to someone else as like reference, it's always nice to have this. And then I don't think I'm going to be using a camera for a while, so that's out of the question. So let's actually do this, and then we'll do like some type of Game Boy with a speaker here. I don't know. We'll do something where like, because I'm gonna be playing Pokemon Red, so we'll do some type of Game Boy-esque setup. So I'm gonna hold Alt, and I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna press space, and I'm gonna move it. So now I'm actually gonna make the dots for the speakers, just so I know where I want them to go. I'm gonna title them S. I don't even know if I want them to go here. I just want it to be my future self to be aware that I would make sure I want speakers. And then like a volume thing here. And then I think there was like, you're supposed to have like a power light or something. I don't know what color that is. I'll do research on Game Boys and figure that out. So this will be a Game Boy type of cover, I guess. And then over here is slightly empty, so I think up here we will have donor or last donation, and then under here we will have the top donation. Top donation. Okay, so we have last donation, we have top donation. And then this area, so we have my details, we have last donation, top donation. I see a lot of people having chat, and I think since the game's so small, especially if I'm playing red or blue, like that's fine. So I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have this be chat. Let's see, what else? I think that's everything. And because I'm playing Pokemon, I'm not going to really have music be playing over it. So I think this is fine for a for like a plan thing. I think this is fine. So now we're going to create a new layer because we always want to work non-destructively. So like if we were to if I was to go to this layer and I was to draw like a circle over it, that's permanently there until I undo it. Or if I go too far and can't undo it, that's permanently there. I cannot change it. Or if I save it off and then come back, they actually fixed that. But earlier versions, that's permanently there. So you always want to work in 2 layers. You always want to work in layers so it doesn't disrupt another layer. So real quick on my phone, I am going to look up a Game Boy Color. So I have a reference. Okay, I have somewhat of a reference now. So my first guess was a bit off. So I'm going to go back to planning. I'm going to press E. I'm going to erase all of this. Their speakers weren't even by their monitor on the color, it looks like. So, and then I'm going to press B for brush again. And I'm going to create another box. Oop. Another box here. Trying to keep it equal. And then they had kind of like a weird like shape there. And then in there they had and this is where the power light was right here. Now, okay, so you see how like I do that and it doesn't really draw and it kind of just circles and then it does that. It's because I'm using a tablet, so in order to fix that, you just got to zoom in a bit and then draw your little dot. And so with that, they had like a kind of like a weird gray like scan thing. And then they had game, or I'll just do GB, and then like they had it in a weird color here, C. Okay, so that looks like what I wanted it to look like. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. So now I'm gonna go back to my permanent layer, the layer that I want it to be finished on, and I'm gonna go with a yellow Game Boy. So this actual screen right here is black, and then the actual screen here is gonna be transparent, but this outer end is yellow. So how are we gonna do that? Well, there is a couple ways to do this. I'm actually going to be doing it with a brush. Because I want it to feel kind of homey and drawn, which is fine by me. That looks like the color. And then I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to hold Shift and drag down. Just going to put it under this layer, just so I can see if it goes under it. I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to do this, do it again, and then this I just got to be careful with. The reason I'm doing this is because if you outline whatever you're doing in this color, it's going to be much easier to actually color it in later, which is fine. I might speed this up, I might not, depending on how much I talk while I do this. My goal is to talk more. Give you more information so you can soak it up and learn. Okay, so I'm almost done. And okay, so we have an area here and an area here that I was well aware of that we messed up. So I switched to my eraser, not by pressing E, this time by turning my pen around on my Wacom tablet. There we go. And then I'm going to zoom out by holding Alt and scroll wheel. So then I want to trace, and I've already switched back to the brush because of my Wacom pen, it automatically does that. Let's make this a bit larger and do this. Do this. Okay. And let's do it here as well. Oop, let's do it here as well. There we go. And we'll do it on the outside. There we go. And there we go. So, one, I guess, semi-easy way is to go K. Or is it K? No. Is it F? Nope, that's full screen. Then is it G? No, G is gradient. Okay, then I'll just find it. It is the fill bucket. I thought it was either... Maybe it's I don't know, we'll find it. Nope. Nope. I'm gonna switch that back to this. Let's see. Here? Yeah, paint bucket. G. So I was right. I was just, since the gradient was already selected there, it switched to the gradient, but it is G. So we're just gonna fill this in, and fill this in, and fill this in. And that looks pretty good. Let me turn off this. Yeah, that looks fine. I actually enjoy that a lot. Okay, so now, oop, rip. So this area is going to be black. And it looks like a pretty dark black. So let's go to a pretty dark black. We might even want to go darker than that. There we go. And then we'll bring this down just a tad. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Then we'll look at it without it. That looks great. I like that. And then slowly but surely we have to trace this one. I'll teach you how to make your brush strokes look a bit neater once you're done with them. But right now, we just gotta trace it. Okay, so like obviously that doesn't look that great. It doesn't look as clean as these do. In fact, this could probably use more yellow. So I'm gonna press I, and I'm gonna take that yellow. This is the eyedropper tool, so it just takes whatever color you're on and changes your color to it. So then I'm gonna go B, and I'm gonna brush over it just a tad. There we go, and then I'm gonna go I, take the black, go B, and brush over it just a tad. There we go, that looks better. I think this side is a bit more thick than this side, so we're gonna go here, and we're gonna trace it all the way down. That looks good. Okay, so now you see this really wobbly line here. There's not really a subtle fix to it. There's not really like an easy fix to it, but I just go over it and go like to these bumps, and best judgment, you'll eventually learn how to do this. I don't really even know how to fully do it really fast, but I will get there one day, I hope. So you're just kind of gonna go over it. You just gotta fix where it looks kind of iffy. You could also like create, like, because this is obviously a shape, you could also do the if you want it to look really clean but also still kind of drawn, there is an ellipse function where you could just kind of draw. Actually, let me take out this, and that actually might be the perfect size. Let's see, V. Oh, rip. I just want to move this, so I will go here. Not quite. Oh, rip. Let's see. Control D to deselect. And it kind of looks like it goes like this, so it'll probably reach there, so I'll probably do it here. Can't actually reach, so I'll just do here and kind of eyeball it and place it right there. Yeah, see, like this is, I mean, it's really, really unorthodox. It's super weird. There's not really a correct way to do it, sadly. So I'm gonna fix it up as best I can this way, which is the way I wanted to do it. So no loss. I also don't always use your eraser when you have it available, because we're trying to do transparent so we can overlay it over a game. You can see I'm just trying to keep going until I get it right. And eventually I'll get it. It's kind of fighting me though. That was the best I did so far. There we go. Okay. And I'm gonna turn this back on because I'm starting to get some weird things going on with my eyes. I just need color to look at rather than checkerboard. Okay. So press I, get the color, B. There we go. There we go. Press I, get the color, B. Let's get rid of that. Make that more curved. Get rid of that. And then let's add, I'm actually going to, this is a quicker way to do it. I'm going to switch my colors, then I can press X to swap in between these two colors. That is probably the quicker way to do it. I'm going to add some stuff here. Add stuff here. And then like this little curve needs some. And then I got to erase this little bump. And add just a tad bit there. And we'll eventually get a semi-okay line. And like, it's not the best, but it's okay. So now we have that. Now we're gonna turn on our layer again for the concept, and then make sure we're on the black, and kind of make it just a tad bit bigger. Our brush stroke, and then shift. Draw that, and then shift. Draw that, and then shift. Draw that, and then shift. Draw that. And then I'm gonna hide this again, and now we have this semi-perfect, oh rip. Then we have this semi-perfect square. And then I'm gonna go G again to my fill. I'm gonna fill it in as best as I can. Okay, there we go. So now it's starting to almost look like the screen off a Game Boy Color. So then we do have that light there. So at this point, I'm gonna actually take my my concept and kind of just make it less there. Because if it's less there, it's almost just like an onion skin where I can just kind of see right over it. Okay, so we're gonna switch my brush. We're gonna make sure we're on the overlay layer, and we need kind of a red. That'll do. And we'll zoom in. Do this. Press B to switch to our brush. Make it smaller. And do that. And then these little lines are actually kind of more pointy. So, and they're more gray. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm going to, instead of like doing it again, I really like this curve. So I'm actually gonna go to this and draw around the curve. Give it more room to breathe here. Give it less room to breathe here. And I'm just kind of making sure it's separated from the circle. And since I'm on the same layer, you see it's going to copy the black around it too. So I want to like get it as close as possible to the curve, which I think that's pretty good. Oh. There we go. There we go. Okay, and let's get this off too. And then I'm going to press Control C, Control V. And that should paste it in, and now all I have to do is press V for move, and move. Ooh, what did I do? What did I do? Okay. Control C, Control V. Why? I'm on this layer. Control C, Control V. Okay, yeah, there you go. And then Control V again. And oh, I like that. That looks good. So now I have these 2 extra layers that I don't need, so I'm going to highlight all of them, and I'm going to right-click on any one of these layers, and I am going to do Merge Layers. And that's going to merge my selected layers, so now it's all one image. Okay, now we have that. Let me open up the picture of the Game Boy again. We need text here. And the text could literally be Game Boy Color, or it could be anything else. At this point, I like to go to Google. Google. Go to images. And then let's look up Game Boy Color. And then if you just do like our logo, and then if you type in PNG or transparent at the end of all of these, normally it comes out pretty well. This looks like what I want, and it looks like it's transparent, so I'm going to view the image. And then I'm going to bring it over to my next monitor. You can't see it, but then I'm going to drag it into here. And see how it has that black background? That's because I didn't save it. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to save it, save, okay, and I'm going to open it in the folder, and now it is open here, and so I am going to move it into here, and now we have the transparent background that we were looking for. Perfect. So now we hold shift to keep the aspect ratio. We're scaling it down, and keep scaling. It kind of just fits the, and now I'm gonna hold Alt, and it's gonna go from the anchor point, which is the middle, and it kind of just fits like right in between the screen. Remember, press Enter to finalize it, and there is our Game Boy Color. I quite like it. It looks nice. Let's see. Now we are going to, so I got the game. I'm gonna actually make this layer's opacity even more, and details. By details, I meant Facebook, Twitter, Google+. So, or anything like that. Any type of social media. So, let's put my YouTube link. I will definitely do that. And I'm actually going to do this on a separate layer. And excuse me, I'm trying to lean back and get more comfortable. Get my blood flowing and comfort. But yeah, let's do it on a different layer. So I'm going to press that. I'm going to drag this layer just above Game Boy Color logo. In fact, I'm actually going to combine these layers and merge them, because there's no reason that I'll ever need to move this Game Boy Color again. It's where I want it to be, and so I'm going to finalize it and merge the layers. So I have this YouTube one right over. So YouTube's pretty easy, their logo is pretty easy, so I'm just going to go here. And remember, like, this is like a Nintendo stream. I want it to be like, I want it to look drawn. I want it to like kind of bring out your inner kid kind of feeling. So let's see. YouTube has kind of like a curved rectangle. I think it'd be much easier to see if actually I turn off this right now, because red pops off of white pretty well. So let's make a box first. There we go. And then we're gonna curve the box's edges like so, and this is just kind of like art techniques you can do with the brush tool. Rip. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to my eraser. I'm gonna scale it down like that. It's a bad erase. Also was a bad erase. That could be a good one. Yep. Okay, and curve this guy's edge and this one's, and then go to brush again and scale it down just so I have more room to work with. And like it's not even and it's not like perfect, but that's fine. We want that effect. We don't have to perfect it. And then I'm gonna go press G for the fill bucket, and we're gonna fill it, and then we're gonna fill the lines around it. Never mind. Then we're gonna press B, and we're gonna scale it up, and we're just gonna draw around it. The fill bucket did that kind of on its own, and it sometimes does that, especially with like how small this is. It'll just kind of pixelize all of it. Just kind of weird, because it fills in the lines, and then it fills in like the lines outside the lines because it's the same color. Anyways, and then we're gonna want a triangle, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna make the brush smaller. So now I've selected white, I've made the brush smaller. We are going to go like this. We're gonna hold shift and just, we're gonna hold shift, and we're gonna click, click. Doesn't seem to be working too well because I have the pressure thing on, but let's just draw the triangle as best we can. Okay, and then let's see, K. Oh, whoops. K. Oh no, it's G. My bad. And then some other programs it's K. So that looks good. I don't necessarily like that it is that it's so far down. And this is where working in separate layers is handy. It wasn't necessarily worth it here because it's an easy fix, but I will show you why working in different layers is really handy. So like if I want to move this this white guy up, I can't just drag the layer. I actually have to select him out of what he's in right now. So I have to select him out of it. And then once I've selected him out of it, we can move him again. And then I'm gonna hold V for move. I'm gonna move this guy up to about here's fine. Now I'm gonna press enter. I'm gonna press Control D. So now we have this weird like disgusting stuff here. So I'm gonna press B, and then I'm gonna press I to get the color. Press B to switch back to the brush, and then we're gonna fill that in. But see, if I drew this triangle on a separate layer, I could have just easily just moved the layer. So we have that, and then I mean I don't really use my Twitter or anything, so we'll just have my YouTube there. And if I go back to the image on my phone, 1 sec. So if I go back to, okay, so I think I like the yellow. The yellow's nice. So I think I'm going to have more of the yellow down here. So I'm gonna go back to this, press I, select the yellow. I'm actually gonna hide this layer. Press B. Did I have that? Yeah, okay. So I did have it on a separate layer. So that was smart because I'm actually wanting to add a background to it. I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have had to draw around it and retrace. So, smart idea on my part. I might even Might even just add another one behind this, just so, like, if I ever want to change the background for specifically this area. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna press B, and here I am filling it in. I could have used, actually, I think I might. Too late now. It's useless now. And then I'm actually going to, so this is pretty straight, and you see that fuzzy bit down there. I'm actually going to go to my selection, do the rectangle. I'm going to select everything up to here. And then I'm going to do select inverse, so now I'm selecting the Game Boy. And the reason that works is because it selects everything other than what you selected. It just inverts your selection. So then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to press select invert again, or inverse, and it's going to take me over here. Then I'm going to press E, scale that up, erase everything on this side too. Hold shift to even make it straight. There you go, and then I'm going to control D, and there you go. Now it's pretty straightforward. And now we have the actual layer that keeps that there. Okay, so I can even have things scrolling from the bottom on my Game Boy, which would look kind of cool. Like, for example, I could have, like, oh, rip, I could have this. I don't know why it's selecting that. Do I have to, like, click that? Yeah, okay. So I could have, like, this scrolling through like that with my name, and then it'll, like, cycle back around. So that'd be cool. Let's actually put this, yeah, there's fine. So now we have the Game Boy Color, and what else do we need? We need top donation and last donation. Oh boy, let's see how are we gonna work that out. I think I have a nice way to make it look nice. So I'm actually gonna highlight both of these. Actually, I'm gonna wait for this. So I'm gonna fill this in with a, I would say, a lighter yellow. Yeah. Okay, so B, new layer. I'm gonna put it behind the Game Boy, and you'll see why in a sec. I'm actually gonna have this lighter yellow be here. And then I need the fill. There we go. So I have this lighter yellow. Actually, I'm gonna go here. You can kind of see it. I'll zoom in so you can see it better. But the Game Boy has like a pixel off. So I'm going to go to my selection. I'm on my Game Boy thing, so I'm gonna go here. Just gonna make sure I get everything. And I'm just gonna press delete. And Control D, and there we go. Oh. Yeah, okay. So I press delete on that layer, and then I press delete on this layer, and then Control D. Now it's a pretty perfect Game Boy. Let's see, and then I want what is going on here? All of this is out of whack, and I don't know why. So I am going to select my Game Boy layer and oop. Okay, so I have lost control. So Control Z, go back here, get it all on my screen, and then I'm gonna highlight. That. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then I'm gonna press delete. And then I'm gonna do Control D for deselect. Actually, I don't really like that. I like how it had more space there. So I'm actually gonna subtract that and do delete and Control D. That way that's fixed, and then this bottom stuff, that's pretty easy to fix. Just get the eraser. Oh no, Control Z, Control Alt Z, and then you tone down. Oh, Control Z, E for eraser, and you turn that down. Just kind of draw it like that. I'm actually drawing with my mouse right now. Okay. So let's get rid of this point, because points are ugly. Okay. So now we have that. So now we're gonna go to layer 8. And actually we're going to turn on this layer. So we have the last donation and top donation. So I'm thinking we have this kind of look nice. So, and not drawn, or still like kind of sketchy, but not like drawn. Let's see. So we'll go here, we'll keep that on. And then I think I am going to make a line, which is not there, but here. Okay, and the reason I'm doing this is I'm gonna make the fill 0, and then I'm gonna make this dark like that, not completely black, but still dark. And then I'm actually gonna go here, and this allows me to have dotted lines, which I think would look nice. Then I'm going to change this to 5 pixels, and I am going to draw a line right there. Control D. Or not Control D. V. That's odd. Line tool. Are these even dots? Yeah, they are. Okay. So we'll do that. But it doesn't look like they're spacing them out there, which means that the line, let's see. Does it work like that? And this is just me trying to figure it out. I've actually never really used the line tool. But I thought I understood how it worked. Let's do path maybe. Oh, because that won't have a stroke. Well, either way, I can change it to look drawn, which is fine, because we have another way to draw lines, which is just like everything else. There's always many ways to do more than one thing. So I'm going to hold shift. Oh, I'm drawing with yellow. Let's go not totally black, but pretty black. Complete black, I don't normally use it because it kind of looks gross. And then we're going to go eraser. We're going to erase down. Oh. Ah, see? This is why you want to make different layers. So we're going to make a layer over this yellow one. Press B for brush. Hold shift. Make that line. And press E for eraser. And make it dotted. That's good. That one wasn't as good. Okay. So in order to like get rid of how I'm getting this weird like if I hold shift and go down and then hold shift again, see how that little thing, I'm actually clicking beforehand and then doing it so I can get rid of it. And like, yeah, these positions aren't gonna be off, but I mean the whole thing, if I really wanted to make a graph and make it all nice and clean, I could, but the whole thing is starting to be like kiddish kind of flavor, so we'll stick with that. Okay, so there's that, and let's take off this so we can see how it looks. That doesn't look half bad. I rather like that. And in fact, I'm going to turn on this and just stare at this for a while. So it'll reset my brain just a little bit, and because I won't actually be staring at something over and over. And I'll turn everything back on. Turn this off. Okay, yeah. And since we made this line on another layer, we actually are making another separation here, and that's fine. We can just do this and use the move tool. Oh, rip. We can do layer 9 copy. I guess now you have to click these lines. I don't see why. Layer 9 copy. Let's do this, and then I'm going to use my arrow keys to just move it, which I don't want to do, but I just did anyways, so whatever. You can use your arrow keys to move things as well. I don't see why it wasn't letting me move it even though the layer was selected. So then let's turn this off. That looks nice. But I don't like that it's flat. I just don't like it. So I'm gonna actually go to the Game Boy layer, and I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna actually double click it in the space. And this allows you to have layer properties, and I'm actually gonna have a drop shadow, which is super cool and helpful. I'm gonna have the angle go that way or that way. In fact, cancel. I'm gonna select this and this layer, then double click. Oh, I guess I'll just have to input the stuff manually on both layers. So that means I have to remember, which means drop shadow at the angle like this, opacity like that, distance. That's fine for me. So the distance is going to be 28. Let's see the opacity. That's fine there. 1928. And the spread size. That's good. 19, 28, 30. Okay, 19, 156, 28, 32. 19, 156, 28, 32. So, oh, rip. Well, good thing I remembered it. 19. I think this was 156. This was 38. And this was 22. Okay, so important lesson is always remember to press OK. And then I'm going to go here, which is this layer. And I'm going to go drop shadow 19. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We're actually going to change the... Oh, what? Is it changing all the drop shadows? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. Cancel. Well, we could always say fuck it and just go here and do I mean, you can change this section's layers anyway, so let's go here and here and let's merge the layers. Rip. Let's take off the drop shadow real quick. Then we merge the layers. Then we put the drop shadow back on. That's more of the effect I'm looking for. Now let's put the noise back on because I want. Yep, there is a vignette here. or not a vignette, a drop shadow, which is fine. Can my eraser actually deal with that or not? No, it cannot. That's fine. The only thing that means is that we'll just have to merge this with an invisible layer and do that. But before I do that, I'm actually going to take, and this is just so I have a backup of this layer, because I worked really hard on this layer. So I'm going to take this off and do this and then copy it. And then now I'm going to use this this layer. I'm going to make it invisible. And then with this and this, I'm going to, hang on, I'm actually going to turn on the drop shadow on this. Okay, and then with this layer and this layer, I'm going to right click and merge. And so it's actually going to delete all the effect data. So now my eraser, yep, my eraser works now on that. So that means I can select just all around it, and E, and hold shift and erase, and then control D. Then I'm gonna go down here and get rid of this too, because this is kind of weird as well. Okay, now we have somewhat of a drop shadow. And there is more stuff there too as well. So we will do E, make it big, hold it like that, and in fact, no, I don't think that would work now, because we have the drop shadow. But it would if we go to this layer without the drop shadow, and we pressed the magic select. We selected all that, then we switched back to this one. So now the selection is there, and we just hold E, and then we erase the bottom as well. And that way, we have a good Game Boy Color. Okay. So that looks good. Now it has a drop shadow, so it has more depth, which is nice. I always like more depth. And then we have top donor here, latest donation here, and then chat, which I guess we can make the same. It was layer 9. We'll make it the same thing. Press V, and then move it down. Like so. Let's move it down even more, like so. And then we have chat rolling here. Chat's a plugin in and of itself, so we don't really need anything there. Just move it down just a bit more. And then now all we need to do is press T for type, and we will do top donation. And we'll make it. We could go retro. We could do this. Oh, I need to highlight my text. I don't know what this is, why it's popping up, but could go retro and do top donation like that. Control T. And like you can even I'm not actually going to be updating this, but you could even put the top donation text in the application, but I just want to see how it'll look when it's done. And then T, and then last last donation. Go here, Control T, hold Shift. Always hold Shift when rescaling text, because aspect ratio in text is like very apparent. You can see even if I go up a little bit, like it's very different. And anybody who's into typography or typography will get onto you if you if you rescale text. without using the same aspect ratio. Okay, and then and then one more. Cancel text. One more, and that's gonna be chat. Control T. Make that bigger. And then I'm gonna actually center this one because chat's kind of important. Make it a bit smaller, like that. Okay, and then I think that is good. You could do more with this, but I think this is perfectly fine for what it is right now. So always remember to save it out. Control S. I'm going to go to desktop, and then I'm going to go and do Twitch overlay. I'm going to save it as a PSD so I can have all the layers saved first. Then I'm going to go Control Shift S again, and then I'm going to save it out as a PNG, because PNG is the best file type for transparency, and we want the transparency because of this, because we want it to see through the game. So save, smallest, yep. Okay, so that was how to create a nice Game Boy Color Twitch overlay. If you liked this, leave a like. If you want more, ask for more, comment. Sharing helps, anything. But thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.